You can start the YouTube channel now, Jessica. And then at 9 o'clock, open call court into session.
The Supreme Court is now in session. The Honorable Chief Justice Robert J. Torres presiding.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the status and disqualification hearing for our oral argument session scheduled for July 2024. Will the clerk please call the first case?
This is Supreme Court case number CVA 23-016, in re the application of the people of Guam. Attorneys Leslie A. Travis and Jeffrey A. Moots for Appellant Office of the Governor of Guam, Nathan M. Tennyson for Appellee People of Guam. The panel consists of Chief Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice F. Philip Carbolito, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
Briefing in this matter is complete. There is a pending request for judicial notice that was filed on June 3rd. The panel consists of myself, Justice Carbolito, and Justice Merriman, and we've scheduled oral arguments in this matter for July the 10th at 10 a.m. in the morning. Is there any objection to the panel as constituted or the date and time of oral argument, Mr. Moots or Ms. Travis?
Not on behalf of the Office of the Governor, Your Honor.
And Mr. Tennyson?
No objection on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
All right. So we will proceed as scheduled on that day, July the 10th at 10 a.m. Will the clerk please call the next case?
Supreme Court case number CVA 23-017, in re application of the people of Guam. Attorneys William B. Brennan for Appellant and Nathan M. Tennyson for Appellee People of Guam. The panel consists of Chief Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman, and Justice Pro Tempore John A. Manglona.
So you've heard the panel as constituted, myself, Justice Merriman, and Justice Manglona from the NMI. Oral arguments are scheduled for July 11th at 2 p.m., not our normal 10 a.m. on that day. The panel, there is appellee's brief is due today. The reply brief will be due 14 days after service of appellee's brief. And there is a pending motion for order to show cause that the court expects will dispose of before oral arguments. Is there any objection to the panel as constituted or the date and time of oral argument, Mr. Brennan?
No objection to the panel or the date on behalf of appellant. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. And Mr. Tennyson?
The people have no objection, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Tennyson. All right, will the clerk please call the next case?
Supreme Court case number CRA 23-008, People of Guam Plaintiff Appellee v. Dwayne Richard Peters, Defendant Appellant. Attorneys Joshua D. Walsh for Defendant Appellant and Nathan M. Tennyson for Plaintiff Appellee. The panel consists of Chief Justice Torres, Associate Justice F. Philip Carbolito, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
Just jumping ahead of myself there. The appellee's brief is due on June 12th. The reply brief will be due 14 days of service of the appellee's brief. There are no pending motions. You've heard the panel as constituted, myself, Justice Carbolito, and Justice Merriman. And oral arguments in this matter are scheduled for July 12th at 10 a.m. Any objection to the panel as constituted or the date and time of oral argument, Mr. Walsh?
No, Mr. Chief Justice, you is okay with all of that, sir.
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Tennyson, on behalf of the plaintiff appellee people?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. All right. Will the clerk please call the next case?
EVA 24-002, John Ryan, Petitioner Appellee v. Edward M. Byrne in his official and individual capacity as the Director of the Department of Administration, Respondent Appellant. Attorneys Nathan M. Tennyson for Respondent Appellant and Braddock J. Huseman for petitioner appellee. The panel consists of Chief Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice F. Philip Carbolito, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
You've heard the panel is constituted. The appellee's brief is due on June 7th. The reply brief will be due 14 days of service of appellee's brief. You're very busy, Mr. Tennyson, with all the cases coming up in this fall, this summer. The oral argument in this matter is scheduled for July 15th, 2024. Is there any objection to the panel as constituted or the date and time of oral argument?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Huseman?
No objection, Your Honor. With one caveat, I might be asking for an additional 14 days from the court under the rules, which would push my briefing back. I don't
Appellee's brief?
For the appellee's brief. And so I don't know if that will that might be quite close for the reply brief on that date, just to make the court aware of the problem.
I think the court could probably manage, but we'll reevaluate it when you file the request. But thank you for giving us a heads up. I mean, we would likely grant some request, and we'll examine the time so that Mr. Tennyson has a sufficient period as well to file his reply and give the court some time to look at it before oral argument. The courts, I think, could handle a shorter time than normal. Usually the brief is due 7 days before oral argument, but we could probably condense that. But we'll look at it when you file the motion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Will the clerk please call the next case?
This is Supreme Court case number CRA 23-014, People of Guam Plaintiff Appellee v. Jesse Jr. Quintanilla Pinalla, aka Jesse Quintanilla Pinalla Jr., Defendant Appellant. Attorneys Levin T. Camacho for Defendant Appellant and Nathan M. Tennyson for Plaintiff Appellee. The panel consists of Chief Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice F. Philip Carbolito, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
The appellee's brief is due today. The reply brief will be due 14 days after service of the appellee's brief. There are no pending motions. You've heard the panel as constituted, Justice Carbolito, myself, and Justice Merriman. And oral arguments in this matter are scheduled for July 16th at 10 a.m. Any objection to the panel or to the date and time of oral argument, Mr. Camacho?
No objection to either the panel or the date, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Tennyson?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, both of you. Will you be arguing this case, Mr. Camacho, or was it Ms. Taitano?
Your Honor will probably decide a little bit closer to the hearing.
Sure, no problem. And just alert the clerk's office who will argue on behalf of the firm. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, will the clerk call the next case?
Supreme Court case number CVA 24-003, Hee K. Cho and Min S. Cho Plaintiffs Appellants v. Alupang Beach Club, Inc. and Stephen Kasperbauer, Defendants Appellees. Attorneys Daniel J. Berman for Plaintiffs Appellants, Attorney Mitchell Thompson for Defendants Appellee. The panel consists of Chief Justice Robert J. Torres, Associate Justice F. Philip Carbolito, and Associate Justice Catherine A. Merriman.
The appellee's brief is due on June 14th, and then the reply brief will be due for 14 days of service of the appellee's brief. There are no pending motions. You've heard the panel as constituted, Justice Carbolito, Justice Merriman, and myself, and oral arguments are scheduled for July 17th, 2024. Is there any objection to the date and time of oral argument of the panel as constituted, Mr. Berman?
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. No objection to the panel or the schedule. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Thompson?
Your Honor, we have no objection to the panel. However, the other Mr. Thompson is preparing the appellee's brief in this matter for our office, and he would be arguing at the hearing on the appeal. Unfortunately, he is going to be off island on July 17th, and so we would request, if possible, if we could have the hearing in this matter be held sometime in August.
Mr. Berman, how is your schedule in August? And we'll have to check the justices' schedule.
Your honors, of course, comes as a surprise to me. I don't have any notice of a motion to change the oral argument date to 30 days later. I don't know. I have some various hearings in August, so I'd have to look at my calendar. I'm looking at my calendar, but I don't know if I should read you my dates of my hearings and start
No,
rescheduling
I
them
think
now.
just a general understanding if you're going to be around, and we'll do you have, would you file a motion and a proposal, proposed dates then? Or maybe work it out with counsel and then we'll have the clerk coordinate. See, I'll have the clerk coordinate with both of the attorneys in this matter and with the justice's schedule and see if we can come to an agreed upon date to continue the oral argument.
Yes, Your Honor, we're happy to do that.
All right. The clerk will be in touch with both of you after consulting the justices and getting a schedule and see if we can't organize a time. I'm sure we will. It just has to be convenient for the parties. All right. So we will not have this argument on July the 17th. When is Mr. Todd Thompson going to be arriving on island?
He will be back in the latter part of July. He did ask me if we could have the hearing in this case sometime in August. I believe he's coming in, you know, the within the last couple of days of July. I think the 27th. Although I'd like to confirm that, but that's my understanding is that he'll be back close to the end of July.
All right, the clerks will discuss with you because we also, the justices have some schedules also at the beginning of August. And so it likely will not happen until mid-August, but the clerks will get in touch once we arrange the times with the justice's calendar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, there being no further business to come before the court will now stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Judge.